Today on Northern Revolutions, I'm going to show you my pickups for the month of May. So stay tuned. Hey vinyl community, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. Today I thought I'd show you the records I've picked up so far in the month of May. It's been quite a few, so I'll show you some of the highlights. One quick reminder, I guess, before I get into that, I have started my first vinyl community contest called the Northern Revolutions Get to Know You contest. I'll leave the link up here somewhere. I'd really appreciate if you'd participate. I've been very excited about doing this contest, and I don't know if I've done something wrong, but so far the response has not been what I maybe expected. Thank you though to the people that have done videos. They've been wonderful and I've enjoyed every one of them. I hope that more folks will consider submitting a video in the coming weeks. Anyway, on with my pickups for the month of May. I got some very exciting stuff that pretty happy about. So first off, regular viewers of my channel will probably know that I'm obviously a big Beatles fan, and I have a fairly extensive Beatles record collection. What I started, I don't know, it might have been maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. I started my collection of original UK first pressings of the Beatles albums for a couple reasons. You know, the Beatles are from England, and so how they were released in England is how they truly intended the albums to be, quite a bit different than they are here in North America. So I wanted originals from England. So to that end, I'm working on getting all first pressings, except for Please Please Me, because a gold label, Please Please Me, is crazy expensive. So I have a second pressing of Please Please Me. Everything else I'm working on firsts. So I did add 2 to that collection this month. First off, got my hands on a first pressing of Sgt. Pepper. It's mono. I would say the condition on all of the ones that I've been picking up are VG or G+. Ones that are in, VG plus are very expensive. So I'm content with like a G+ or a VG. I'm not prepared to pay $500 for something. If there's wear on the jacket, I'm okay with that, because these albums are 60 years old almost at this point. I want the vinyl to be in reasonable condition that I can play it. Now, I do play my mono remasters primarily, but I still like to put on these original pressings and see how they compare to the mono remasters. But so that's what I've done. So here's a mono Sgt. Pepper. I would say it's in, G+. The vinyl is in great shape and it plays flawlessly. So there's my Sgt. Pepper. And Revolver just arrived yesterday. Jacket's fairly rough on this, but the record's in good shape and plays very nice. So I'm happy with that. At this point, I've got everything from Please Please Me through to Sgt. Pepper. So I just need first pressings of everything post Sgt. Pepper. So the next thing I picked up was in response to, I think it was the video that I did on the most expensive records in my collection according to Discogs. And one of those is, I have a original first pressing of Rodriguez Cold Fact. In that video, one of the viewers is from Australia, and we struck up a conversation, and I was educated on what the Searching for Sugar Man documentary doesn't tell us about the story of how Rodriguez was popular in Australia as well. The story in the movie sort of glosses over that. At any rate, that viewer made me aware of some of the Australian pressings of Rodriguez records. So to that end, I picked up an original Blue Goose first pressing of this, which is called Rodriguez at His Best. It kind of looks like Cold Fact, except it has the Coming From Reality picture in the middle. And really what this is this is original to, I think, 1976 or 7. And it's basically a compilation of songs from Cold Fact and Coming From Reality. And then there's 3 unreleased songs on here. So I was able to pick this up, I think on Discogs. I think it was on Discogs at a reasonable price. I'm a huge Rodriguez fan, so I like that I have an original Australian first pressing, I have an original South African first pressing, and then I've got the reissues. Now I'd like to get, an American first pressing of either Coming From Reality or Cold Fact, but that might be difficult. Anyway, I'm super excited about this because there's 3 songs in here that I had never heard before. So Rodriguez at His Best from Australia. I mentioned in my Record Store Day video that I didn't do Record Store Day this year. And I didn't do Record Store Day for a few reasons. I don't like mornings. There wasn't a ton that I was crazy excited about. Some items that if I found them later on, great. And to that end, I went to one of my favorite local record shops the week after Record Store Day, and I found all 3 records that I had been interested in. So the first one is Melanie C's Northern Star. This is pop, a little bit of rock, I guess, album from 1999. I had this on CD when it first came out. I enjoyed it, so I bought it. This is the first time it was ever available on vinyl. It's a double gatefold. It's 3 sides, and I think there's an etching on the 4th side. I hate when people do etchings on the 4th side. Just fill the damn record. At any rate, I'm glad that I was able to track this down. The next Record Store Day pickup was something that I saw on the Record Store Day list, and I was interested about it. And then I saw Gary over at Physical Format Rock and Roll did a review on this because he picked it up, and that was all the motivation I needed to get it. This is Joan Jett and the Blackhearts Acoustics. So this was a Record Store Day exclusive. There's 8 songs on here of acoustic versions of Joan Jett songs. You Drive Me Wild, You Don't Know What You've Got, School Days, Good Music, Fresh Start, Hate Myself for Loving You, Androgynous, which was live, and Bad Reputation, which is live. I was very intrigued about what Joan Jett songs would sound like acoustically, and they sound great. Joan Jett's voice doesn't lend very well, in my opinion, to doing unplugged versions, but nevertheless, they're still entertaining, and I like Joan Jett. So apparently this is the precursor to a larger upcoming acoustic album, so I've heard. But anyway, Joan Jett Acoustics. And the one thing that I really wanted on Record Store Day, Stevie Nicks' Belladonna. I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan. So this obviously is a remastered 180 gram repress. It's a 2 LP set. The second record has early takes, alternate versions, demos, and then Blue Lamp and Sleeping Angel, which were soundtrack songs. Belladonna is a fantastic record on its own right, but with the addition of the extra, bonus songs, it's wonderful. This is very much like a lot of the Fleetwood Mac Record Store Day albums that have come out in years past, where they're, alternate Rumors, alternate Mirage, alternate Fleetwood Mac, where it's acoustic or demo or alternate versions of songs. Well, that's what they've done on the second disc of this. So very much in that vein. Glad I have this. I have listened to it every day for about the past, couple weeks. Another record I was thrilled to find, Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. It's a bit of a thread that weaves through my record pickups. So Mike Campbell obviously was the lead guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but he's also was Lindsey Buckingham's replacement in Fleetwood Mac, and I just did a Stevie Nicks record. She's in Fleetwood Mac, and I have some Fleetwood Mac stuff coming too. But at any rate, this was their new album. I have their first album called Reckless Abandon, which is fantastic. This is equally as fantastic. If you like Tom Petty, you're going to like this because, there's a lot of instances you can close your eyes and you'd think it was Tom Petty. No one does a better Tom Petty impersonation than Mike Campbell. This is just a great, great record. So is the first one. If you want to see a good review of this, head over to Sam St. John's channel. He broke this album down sort of track by track. Fantastic. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. The next one that I picked up will require explanation because I can almost guarantee that no one has heard of this unless you're a really hardcore fan of Canadian indie music. Guilty as charged. This is an album called The Unintended by a band called The Unintended. This came out in 2003 on CD, but was remastered and released on vinyl for the first time in 2019, and I finally found a copy. The Unintended, for all intents and purposes, is a Canadian rock, indie rock supergroup. So it's comprised of all four members of the Sadies. I've talked about the Sadies before. They are a country rock psychedelic. Yeah, they're amazing. So it's all four members of the Sadies. Rick White, who was in a few Canadian indie rock bands that most people haven't heard of, and Greg Keeler, one of the frontmen for the legendary Blue Rodeo. This is an album that the six of them did almost 20 years ago now, and it's a sort of laid-back psychedelic rock record, but it's amazing. I had to get it because I'm such a huge Blue Rodeo fan, and Greg Keeler's on here, and I love the Sadies, and they're the 75% of the people on this album, especially in light of Dallas Good from the Sadies tragically passing away a couple months ago. I definitely needed to grab this. So if you like sort of mellow psychedelic rock, The Unintended. Trivia, the name The Unintended comes from a Gordon Lightfoot song called Go Go Round. Anyway, that's where this comes from. I mentioned a bit of a Fleetwood Mac thread in this month's videos. Rumors. And everyone's going to go, yeah, so what? True. I have several copies of Rumors. This is the somewhat elusive audiophile 45 RPM 2 LP Palace pressing. The 1 LP Palace pressing is out there. It's easy to find. The 2 LP, not quite as much. It's a gatefold cover. It's an embossed cover. Nothing different on it. It's just cut at 45 RPM and spread across 2 discs. The sound quality on this is amazing. I've said many times I'm not an audiophile, but when I play this compared to my original, even I notice a difference. It's amazing. I bought this off of, can't remember the website. I'll leave a link when I find it. They're probably sold out of it now. Acoustic Sounds, that's where I got it. So I was lucky to grab this. And the last one also continues the Fleetwood Mac thread. This is called Buckingham Nicks, Never Going Back Again. It's a bootleg, I guess. Buckingham Nicks obviously is Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. That was the group they were in before Fleetwood Mac. They recorded a self-titled album, which is wonderful. I have it. It's somewhat of a collector's item nowadays, not as easy to find as it was, say, 10 years ago. What this is this is a radio broadcast from WSCN-FM from 1975. This is a concert that Buckingham Nicks performed in Tuscaloosa on the 28th of January 1975. It's good. The audio quality is what you'd expect from an FM broadcast. There are a few sound issues throughout the album. I don't think that's the source material's fault. I think that was the sound at the venue, but definitely listenable. What I like about this, it's Buckingham Nicks, it's live, and it has a lot of stuff that would end up on the Fleetwood Mac self-titled debut that these guys were on. So Monday Morning, Never Going Back Again, Rhiannon, Crystal, all live versions of those songs, which would eventually become Fleetwood Mac songs. So I don't have a ton of bootlegs, but I jumped on this when I found it at my local record store. That's it for my pickups for the month of May. I've got a couple others coming before the end of the month, and one of them is pretty huge. So I'm going to leave that till the next video. That's it for me today, everybody. Catch you on the flip side.